Donald Trump versus Harry's wife. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. It's a tempting prospect, it must be said. The Donald going jaw to jaw with Harry's wife. It would be hilarious. But where has this come from? Well, the Telegraph, with Susie Cohen, tells us Donald Trump offers to debate against Duchess of Sussex. Donald Trump has said he would love to debate Harry's wife, the Duchess of Sussex, as he took a swipe at her relationship with the late Queen. As you know, Trump is looking to run for president again, and as I've explained to you previously, he also is a narcissist, an upper lesser type B, meaning that he's belligerent, brash, and bombastic. He doesn't operate with a facade. He shoots from the lip. He tells you what he views as is correct, which basically means he's right and you're wrong. He's powerful, you're not. He's telling the truth, you're issuing fake news. Trump, like Harry's wife, is a divisive character. There are those that see him as a champion of free speech, who was there to drain the swamp, and has been beset by problems from a Democrat-led media that seeks to smear him at every turn. There are those that see that he's good for business, good for jobs, that he does what it says on the tin. Others find that he's a misogynistic, xenophobic, unpleasant bigot and a bully. You can take your pick. I'm not here to debate whether Donald Trump is a good thing or a bad thing. I'm here to analyse the fact that he, as a narcissist, is asserting control over Harry's wife with this declaration of explaining that he'd love to debate her. And why not? When asked whether he would sit down with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, the former president, aged 77, urged radio host Hugh Hewitt to set it up, adding, "Let's go do something. I'd love to debate her. I would love it." In that moment, Harry's wife has come up on his radar. He can't assert control over her directly. She's not there. He's not going to ring her up or send her a text message, and instead, he has to assert control over her indirectly, and he does so by talking about her to the radio host and whoever would be listening at the time. The response of the radio host provides him with a subconscious, indirect assertion of control over Harry's wife, which is what his narcissism is seeking. And he does so in his typical form, which is to suggest, "I'm not scared of anything, I'll have a debate with you, let's bring it on, make it happen." The direct approach that appeals to so many of his supporters. The Duchess of Sussex previously called Mr. Trump divisive and misogynistic. There, of course, Donald Trump has come up on the radar of Harry's wife, a mid-range narcissist. Her narcissism similarly needs to ensure that she has control over him. At the time, her narcissism did not direct her to hoover him, i.e., seek to assert control over him directly. Instead, it caused her to smear him, talking about him unpleasantly. Notice the difference there in responses. The more direct approach of Trump is to say, "Let's have a debate, there are some things I want to discuss with you, missy." Whereas with Harry's wife, she throws potshots at him, calling him divisive and misogynistic, the typical approach of Harry's wife, to do so to make adverse comment about an individual. Interestingly, of course, I suspect that Harry's wife hasn't actually met Donald Trump, but she feels that it's appropriate to pass comment about him, whilst of course complaining about people who she says have never met her, passing comment on her. Once again, her hypocrisy is evident. She called him those names in the run-up to the 2016 election win before she married Prince Harry. She said she would relocate to Canada if he beat Hillary Clinton to become the 45th US president, Well, she did, albeit via the United Kingdom, but she didn't actually hold good on what she promised that she would do. Promised gain, not delivered. Typical narcissist. Speaking on Wednesday, Mr. Trump accused Harry's wife of treating Elizabeth II with disrespect. There, Mr. Trump is utilising the truth for the purpose of assertion of control. He's correct in what he's stating, and said he didn't like the idea they were getting US security when they came here. He said, "I didn't like the way she dealt with the Queen. I became very friendly with the Queen. She was an incredible woman." There, Donald Trump is triangulating Harry's wife with the Queen, bolstering his own standing by talking about how he became very friendly with her, and again utilising the truth because he's correct. The way that Harry's wife dealt with the Queen was odious. "I think it's not a good situation going on with the two of them, but I didn't know that they don't like me. Someone mentioned it might be possible. They wouldn't be the only ones." In the interview, Mr. Trump also compared the cognitive abilities of the Queen with President Joe Biden. "At 95, she was so sharp," he said. "She was 100%. When you watch Biden, you say this is a different planet." Assertion of control over President Biden by smearing him. The rest of the radio show related to his ongoing legal dramas, which we needn't touch on here. The most entertaining aspect of this is that Trump says that he will debate Harry's wife. It's a tempting prospect, and he'd wipe the floor with her. Of course, it wouldn't actually happen. Why? Harry's wife is a cowardly middle mid-ranger. It's all very well for her to take potshots against Mr. Trump. It's also the case that she took potshots against William, Catherine, the late Queen, Prince Philip, and did so indirectly and from afar, the cowardly behaviour of that middle mid-ranger. In this instance, her narcissism would not allow her to have such a debate, although it would be a mouth-watering prospect. If it were to occur, someone would really need to prime President Trump with a number of pertinent questions that he could throw at her, and he would throw them at her. He doesn't care how it looks. He wants to get to the nub of the matter, and as long as it makes Donald Trump look good, the question's a good one. And therefore, all of those questions which have been so far avoided, he would hurl at her. She wouldn't respond. She would deflect in such a debate. You'd be subjected to such a tsunami of word salad, you'd have to start getting, the audience would have to bring their own kayaks to paddle out of there. But if he was primed with the pertinent questions about her behaviours, the lies that she's told, the revisions of history, all of the burning questions that many people want her to answer, he would certainly launch those grenades at her. Each and every one would be delivered as a howitzer. Bold, brash, bombastic. Her narcissism, in order to defend her, would result in her deflecting. She would probably turn on the waterworks as well, suggesting that he was a bully and representative of the people that have made her life such a misery, as she attempted to elicit sympathy from whatever audience was watching or listening. The fact is, no such debate would ever, unfortunately, happen. The reason being, both Harry's wife's advisors would tell her not to do it, but also her narcissism would. It would recognise the threat that's posed by President Trump, and therefore cause her to not even to respond to this. You can expect no statement from her responding to his suggestion. She will assert control by staying in a position of withdrawal. All too typical of the cowardly Duchess of Sussex. But it would be a mouth-watering and entertaining spectacle, as he would land blow upon her, and she would sit there getting flustered. She says she wants to go into politics. This would be a useful way of establishing whether she's got any credentials whatsoever to do so in having a debate with the Donald. He's a seasoned pro at this kind of thing, like a battering ram with his questions and allegations of fake news. She would be like a rabbit in the headlights, spluttering, dazzled, and made to look a complete fool. It would be a win for Donald, because he would be seen to ask the questions and she would be seen to be evasive. He puts it all out there. She seeks to hide things. Accordingly, whilst it would be fascinating to see such a debate, her narcissism will not let it happen. And therefore, it allows Trump the opportunity to make the suggestion, make himself look good, curry favour with those that say, yes, why not have a debate? Why not take her to task about her comments and pose other questions that should be answered in relation to the way that she's behaved? And of course, from the Duchess of Sussex, there will come simply silence as she stays in a position of withdrawal to assert control over Donald Trump. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.